170 properties. We ventured into commercial, we ventured into short-term rental, and all of that with literally zero advertising. Welcome back to another episode of All or Nothing in Real Estate. I am Matt Smith. I'm the founder of All or Nothing in Real Estate. This is a podcast. This is a movement to give back to the industry that has given so much to me. So in this episode, we got a little different one for you today. We're going to talk about how a property management partnership can transform your real estate business. So in this episode, we'll be discussing why and how we created our own property management company and how it propelled our real estate business to new heights that we didn't realize were possible. We'll explore the strategies, challenges, and successes that led to this great transformation, and most importantly, how you can do it too. So today I'm joined by a very special guest. It is our Director of Operations for our property management company, Julie Remark.
Thanks.
Julie, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I didn't know you were Director of Operations, but
This
that's
is
a fancy
new.
title.
This is new.
Yeah.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Appreciate it.
So Julie, it says here in the script you have to say that's what's up. So
That's what's up.
there we go. All right, cool. So Julie has been with the property management company since day one of starting and has really helped it grow to become actually a pretty incredible asset to our real estate business and a very amazing standalone company in its own. So without further ado, Julie, let's just dive in. Let's talk about property management and how that can affect a real estate business.
Okay, can I say that I'm very excited that you have to be nice to me for the next hour and you have to compliment me?
You can't say that.
Are
no.
you just itching inside?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
I love that. So Julie, tell us a little bit about yourself, your work experience with integrity, and what you've accomplished so far with the property management company.
Sure. So 2012 to 2015, I worked as a property manager at another management company in the area. Actually worked with your lovely wife, my best friend. And things were not incredible there. Just bad leadership, bad experiences, not doing the best for the client, not having integrity, things like that. I since moved away for about 3 years, and when Amanda heard I was coming back, of course, you guys already had this great real estate company, and she wanted to start a property management company. We had worked together in the past, so it kind of seemed like it was meant to be at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember too, specifically at that point, that you already had a job that you were working from home, right?
I did. Yeah, I was working property management from home in another state. We moved back here. I could have kept that job, but I instead decided to see what opportunities this could bring.
And to just show a little bit of Julie's character, she also took a pay cut to do that. Not only taking, she could have worked at home, probably less hours, less stress. She decided to join this startup company of ours and really give back because she saw a need and wanted to be a part of something bigger. So I think that speaks a lot to your character.
Thank you. I also had a lot of respect for Amanda, so I knew that if she wanted to do this, honestly, there was nobody else I would have gone back into property management for besides Amanda. So I was actually really excited about the opportunity.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the opportunity of property management. And so if you're a real estate agent that you maybe do some property management yourself, or you're growing a team and you've thought about starting a property management company, like I've talked with a lot of other people that are wanting to grow one or have one that want to exceed and continue to grow and expand it. And so I think it's important to go back to when we first started. When we first started our team, we did not have a property management company on purpose. It wasn't our business model. We wanted to focus on real estate. But what happened was every single day, it felt like every day, someone would call, someone would walk in, something would happen that somebody asked if we had rental properties or if we could rent their property. And we kept having to turn away people. And like, I don't mean to talk bad or negatively about competition, but we would send them to other companies that we thought were reputable in the area. And maybe they are, but those clients would come back to us and have a bad experience. And we wanted to make sure that the client gets taken care of. And so when we started the property management company, it wasn't like, hey, this is the profitable model, or hey, we can take more market share, or hey, we can do this. It was literally because there was a need for the clients. Mm-hmm. And you said it in the beginning, but we titled and named our property management company Integrity Property Management for a reason. Mm-hmm. Because we saw that there was a lack of that in the industry, and especially in our marketplace. And property management gets a bad rap. It is very tough to keep both the tenant and the renter, like the landlord and the tenant, is supposed to keep them both happy, is like virtually impossible.
Yes.
But because we always act within integrity and within principle, we've had the company for how long now?
It's been 4.5 years now.
4.5 years, and we are like very highly rated on our reviews.
Thank you. Can I speak on that? Because
Yeah.
I'm very proud of this. We have 4.8 stars on Google.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal. That was very important to us at the beginning of the year.
For sure, because if again, I don't want to be negative here, but like if you just reality, if you go and look at other management companies, both in our area and probably in your marketplace too, if you're listening to this, they don't have raving reviews.
No.
It's the loud voices sometimes speak louder, and in this business and property management specifically, it's very hard to keep everyone happy, right? Because if it's something that's out of your control as a management company, still because the homeowner says no, the tenant looks at you, right?
Yeah, I think you nailed that because when you said keeping both parties happy, kind of when you're in real estate or you're a real estate agent, you're typically only working with either the buyer or the seller. Not always true, but sometimes, most of the time. Well, in property management, you're kind of working on behalf of both of those people.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, sometimes you're going to make somebody mad. It's hard to please both people. The homeowner doesn't want to do something. The tenant wants you to do something. So it's difficult to navigate.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why it goes back to principle, right? And that's goes back to the name of we always act with integrity.
Yes.
And I think it's something that I would be willing to bet you talk about a lot when you're talking in those difficult conversations of like, I understand how you feel, but hey, in the end of the day, we have to do what we feel is right? We have to do the right thing. And so let's dive deeper on that. Let's talk about the importance of integrity in your property management company. Like, what does that mean to you?
So integrity is not taking fees, hidden fees. That's a thing I get a lot from homeowners. Whenever I'm talking to them about property management and they maybe have interviewed other places or they're coming from another property management company, they'll ask, do you have any fees? And I'll say them and they'll say, so you don't have any other fees, no hidden fees? I'm like, no, we don't.
Why is and this is me, like I'm not involved in this business very much. Julie pretty much runs the day to day and Amanda picks up the pieces where she needs to. So I'm very disconnected from this part of the business. I'm just curious, what has trained the consumer to ask that every time that you talk to them?
Experience, I guess. They'll probably get a statement from their property management company and they'll see a charge on there. Oh, I didn't know I was being charged for that. Oh, well, it's in your property management agreement, which it might be, but
Sure.
It was never really said. It was never communicated. I don't expect somebody to read a property management agreement and then know everything. It's still my job to go through the important parts and make sure they understand everything.
And an important part of that is where they're getting charged and why and how.
That's a big important part. Yeah, people care about that.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me that like I didn't even know that part, but that when you said that was a big eye-opening moment for me that if everyone asks that, there's a reason, right? So I love that we are very transparent up front with that. Before we go further, I want to also mention like this isn't just a little like it sounds like we just started this little property management company. How many doors do we manage right now?
170, and we have a couple commercial properties and a couple short-term rental properties as well.
Yep. 170 properties. We ventured into commercial, we ventured into short-term rental, and all of that with literally zero advertising. Julie's gonna be mad at me because she still doesn't have a sign up, but she wants a sign outside. We don't even have a sign on the building. Like it's a 100% organic, word of mouth from actually doing the right thing, taking care of people.
It really is. That's really the biggest part. Of course, Google reviews help, but a lot of people come from recommendations from our other agents, from other homeowners, from other tenants, from the community.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Now I'm probably gonna have to do some advertising because I'll let Julie know that we don't. So let's talk about. I want to tie. We'll circle back to some of these other points, but I want to tie in quickly. If someone is listening to this, they're like, "Hey, I want to understand how this applies to me in my business." So if someone doesn't have a property management company yet, let me give you some insight on how I believe it vertically integrates, right? And so I believe what's doing best for the client is always best. And so let's say that you have a buyer that maybe doesn't have the financial means to buy right now. Mm-hmm. What value can you provide to them?
Yeah.
Like if you have a property management company, now we have a home that they can rent,
Mm-hmm.
right? While they're working on their credit, and then they can achieve the dream of buying their dream home. Same thing with a seller. What if a seller is maybe something happened in the marketplace, or they had a problem and they had to refinance the home. Something happened and they don't have the equity where they're able to sell quickly, or they have an emergency, they need to move quickly. Well, if there's not an option for them to just instantly sell that home overnight, maybe they can rent it out, because what we have found is that giving people options really helps them. And if they can have that home rented and their mortgage covered and maybe a little bit of cash flow on top of that, it helps relieve that pain so they can go to that other area. Because a lot of times what I've experienced, and Julie, I would like for you to speak on this, is that when it's that urgency, usually there's some reason behind it. There's a motivation that's important that we want to make sure we're helping that client get to that other area to take care of family or whatever the situation may be.
Yeah, absolutely. In this town, we have a lot of military. So the sense of urgency to kind of get your house together. We have a lot of people moving here who get a house before they even move here. So there definitely is a sense of urgency. And also for real estate offices, think of property management more as an expansion of your business rather than kind of just a separate part of it, because it really can influence your business. Even though I've had properties in property management that I've had a listing agent have to sell because the homeowner just wanted to sell, I don't think of that as I've just lost a house at all. I never think that. And then when listing agents say this person, their house isn't selling, whatever, they need to rent it, I don't think they ever think that either, because it really does build your business.
100%.
Because now that person can have a great experience with me as well. And then when they are ready to buy, sell, whatever it is, they're going to come back to the real estate side because both companies are giving them exceptional treatment.
100%. I talk about it all the time on this podcast, talk about it all the time to the team, is that the number one goal, your number one job if you're in the real estate business, even in the property management business, is control the client experience. And if you control the client experience, you can control the transactions for the rest of their life. You have to make sure the client gets their best experience. And sometimes what I've experienced is such a great point, because if Julie were of the mindset of, oh man, they sold their house, I lost a property, and be disappointed, she's not putting the client experience first.
Right.
And clients feel that, and that what you put out in the world comes back, right? I can't explain it, just happens. And so you have to realize that if you do what's best for the client, I promise you will get way more in return. And that's an example of the mindset that we have and how that is vertically integrated, both in alignment with property management growth, but also our real estate growth.
Absolutely.
Like I'll be willing to bet our growth would not have been as substantial in the real estate side. So if you're a real estate agent, you're like, hey, I don't really want to mess with property management. I hear you. I don't either. Find a great person like Julie that somehow enjoys it and loves doing it and is great at it, because it is in alignment with your business. It gives your clients a better experience, and it allows you to grow both organizations together.
Yeah, make sure you get somebody that you trust, that shares your core values, that you can build a relationship with. I mean, I have a relationship with the listing agents and the buyer's agents on this team, and we share an office. So I think that's a really important note to make. Think of them as part of your business and have a working relationship with them.
Yeah, I love that. And so, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's just so important. I talk to a lot of people that don't, or maybe are scared to get into property management, or I was one of them, or maybe don't understand the benefits, right? Well, I'm going to make 10% of $1,000 a month. Like, it's not worth that $100 for me to deal with all the headaches. You have to realize it's about taking care of the clients. And like, there was a point in time, and Julie may not know this, but as we started our property management company, we lost money for a long time until we built up the clientele to get enough people that supplied enough income. And we were able to provide those clients enough service that we believed in taking care of the client, that it would continue to grow. And as it grew, it became very profitable.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, but you have to realize that you have to do this for the long term. And what is crazy about that is, let's talk about the current real estate market. Let me switch gears for a minute. If you're a real estate agent listening to this, right now your marketplace, I'd be willing to bet, has low inventory. Almost every place in the country has low inventory. There's not enough houses to sell. Guess what we have with a property management company? We have 170 homeowners that are potential sellers now. That we have first opportunity to talk to about why it's a good time to sell their home. If they're no longer want to be a homeowner or a landlord, they want to actually sell their home, maybe now is a good time. And we have first access to that. You want to talk about vertically integrating your business? It's a huge, huge opportunity for you to put that time, energy, and effort in growing your property management company for, if nothing else, for your own selfish reasons to grow your real estate business, like it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. We've kind of worked that way as well, where they needed a house. Somebody needed a certain type of house. They reached out to me. Hey, would you reach out to this homeowner, see if they're willing to sell? We've done that. If I've not had anything in property management, I've reached out to a listing agent. Do you have any homeowners that maybe want to rent instead of trying to sell their house? So it's definitely something that can benefit both sides.
100%. I want to talk about how do we keep. So we have an amazing track record of keeping our houses full. Every now and then I'll check in with you or Amanda and say, hey, how many houses do we have available? And it's very rare that there's any. So I would be willing to bet I think Amanda did this for me. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're at like 99% occupancy, like average over the last 12 months.
I think it's 97.
97%?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So like that's phenomenal.
It is.
Right? Like, so you want to talk about providing value to people, like homeowners that become investors, like their concern would be in a military market like ours, they're moving to another area. We need someone we can trust to manage this home. And what if we don't find a renter? Like we found those processes to make sure we can get that home occupied and we can get them that income that they need quickly.
Yeah, I can feel pretty confident when I tell a homeowner we'll get this house rented in a week or two.
Yeah. Something else too, just a quick side note that I've talked with Amanda about and with Julie about is that as this real estate market has changed and transformed, right? I'm a firm believer that the rental market follows the real estate market. So what I mean by that is home prices increased X% in your market. Guess what else is going to increase X% in your market? Rental prices, right? It's the same exact thing. So make sure that you keep that in mind when someone moves out of the home, to make sure you're giving that homeowner the benefits of the real estate market appreciating so that they can get more money for their home. There's a balance there to make sure that the renter is getting, the tenant is getting a good deal, right? But you also have to make sure that you are managing the property to not leave too much money on the table.
Absolutely. That's another thing. You got to make sure it's good for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk about the not so fun stuff of property management. Let's talk about the difficult problems that you overcome.
Okay.
Like, what are some of those problems that maybe you see in property management?
To name one, if a property owner is not keeping the property to standards. So we do have standards. We won't just take any property.
I think that's very important to note. I don't want her to skip over that or you not hear that. Like we've done that intentionally,
yes.
Right? There's some homeowners that we don't want to manage the properties because we have a reputation and we want to help them, but if they're not willing to meet to our standards, then another property management company is probably best for them.
Right. So I did have to let an owner know a while ago that he needs to do certain repairs for his property. He didn't want to do them. I just unfortunately let him know that, I think another property management company can help them better, because we just don't want to manage a property where the garage door is falling apart and the homeowner won't fix anything. So you do need to know when a property is just not working for you, when it's going to cause more headaches and it's going to cause clients being happy and making money. Like, it just doesn't always make sense.
It has to be a win-win-win, right?
Yes.
It has to be a win for the homeowner, has to be a win for the tenant. It also has to be a win for the management company. And if it's not all three of those, like, we will do what we can to try to make it a win-win-win. But if it's not, it's just not worth it. Right? Like there's some management companies that do it for extremely high percentages. There's some that do it for extremely low percentages, right? Like we charge what we charge because of the value we provide.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that it's just very important that you establish that in your standards. And also just, again, I'm talking to real estate agents mostly here. Like, what is your unique value propositions for your buyers and sellers? You need the same thing for homeowners. You need the same thing for tenants. Right. Like, I remember when we were developing things, like, you guys asked for a copy of our listing presentation so you could revamp it to have a presentation to provide value to a potential landlord. Right. Like those things that I've seen behind the scenes of other property management companies that don't do that.
Yeah, we stole a lot of y'all's work.
but it's vertical alignment, right? Like it's so important that client gets that service and they understand. There's so many things that go into managing a property or renting a property. If you can give them that visual representation and walk them through what to look out for, their experience is going to be so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And set up expectations.
Yes.
Which is a big one.
100%. So, Julie, what advice would you have for someone that is looking to potentially create a property management company or enhance and grow their property management company that they have?
To enhance and grow, I would say something I've learned over my time is Google reviews are very important. That's something I learned from the real estate side. I think you need to make an effort to make sure you're getting those good reviews. I think another thing is to have open and honest conversations with anybody who is willing to let you manage their property. I think you need to be upfront with everything. Don't try to hide anything. It will always come back to you.
Can you give some examples of that? Like, I love that. But like, what would be something that is advice for someone if they're like, I don't understand what she means by that? Like, how can you go a little deeper with that?
Sure. So thinking of some of the things in the property management company or property management agreement, one thing is the fees. Be honest with all the fees. Don't try to cover them up. Any maintenance things, I let my homeowners know immediately with any maintenance things. I never try to take matters in my own hand. I make sure that they know everything that's going on with their property. You may think, oh, I don't need to let them know. I'll just handle it. And then 2 months later, something happens with that last thing that you didn't tell them about. And now you've got to go back and be like, oh, well, I just didn't tell you because I didn't think it was a big deal. That makes you look dishonest.
Yeah. So be upfront, set proper expectations, and over-communicate.
Yeah. Over-communicate for sure. And also, and I have unfortunately had to do this, accept responsibility when you're wrong. It's so much easier to just accept responsibility when you're going to mess up in property management. It's a lot. If you mess up, just admit it. You messed up.
Yep.
They appreciate that.
It's so hard. Like, it's so funny because I'm just imagining like a mad homeowner yelling at Julie because she made a mistake. Like, if Julie were to just say, you know what, you're right. I apologize. I made that mistake. Where can we go from here? It's very hard for that person to keep yelling. Yes. Right?
Fortunately, didn't learn that in the beginning of this, but I have since learned it, and it has made a huge difference. Yeah. They end up just kind of respecting you more.
100% every time.
Trusting you more.
Yes. Well, how many people in this world, like, I'm going to go on a quick tangent, but like accept responsibility is one of my personal core values, one of our company's core values as well for that reason. There's so many people.
My favorite.
There's so many people in this world that just don't do it. They don't own their shit.
And it's so much easier if you just do it. Yeah. It really is.
100%. Like, it's a whole new world on the other side of, you know what, you're right, I fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What can I do better next time? What would you like for me to do to make it right?
Yeah.
Because you're right. You're 100% right. I did not do this like I should have done it. What would you like for me to do to fix it? Because I want to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to be mad at that? Like, it demands respect because if you have to truly mean it, right? You have to be sincere about it.
Absolutely.
But there's too many people that try to hide things or cover up or, well, I'm going to sell around it. I'm going to deflect and talk about this other thing instead of just owning their stuff, you know?
Yeah. I think that's another thing, accepting responsibility. And also, I've learned this recently too, not too recently, but since I've been here, people are going to call you and they're going to be really mad. And it's not always your fault, but they're going to be really mad. I have learned that just staying calm and just saying, oh, I'm so sorry, or just like talking calmly, kind of another accepting responsibility. Yep. Even if you're not in the wrong, don't yell back. Don't get mad. Just stay calm. I have learned that has helped me so much in my career.
I love that. And that translates over to, we probably should do a podcast on this. Colin's going to take notes for me, is how to turn, I've done this speech to the team several times, is how to turn pissed off clients into your biggest opportunity.
Yes.
Right? Like, because there's so much opportunity there. Because the people that are loud whether they're upset or they're happy, right?
Right.
And what I have found is that the people, if you can be the exception to the people that are always pissed off, that always have a loud voice, that are never happy with anything, but you can be the one that goes over the top and delivers them that service, they're going to sing your praises to everyone.
Yeah. And think of how many other people are doing that. Probably not very many other companies.
Yeah. And like so I'm going to dive deeper into what you just said. If someone calls upset, don't make the mistake that I used to make. It sounds like Julie has made before as well, is like, immediately, like, you get defensive and you're like, "What? Who are you to call and talk to me this way?" Right? Like, that doesn't solve any problems.
Don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal. Remove your ego. Put it to the side. Realize this person's having a bad day. Let them vent. Number one, if you just let someone vent and you listen to them and you understand, 90% of the problems go away.
That's often all I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so I have a formula for this. I hope I can remember. But it's allow them to vent. And then it's also, so you seek first to understand before you can be understood, right? So even if you don't agree with them, you have to hear them out first and say, hey, I completely understand where you're coming from. However, here is what I feel. Like, what would you agree with any of that, or do you still feel how you felt? And most of the time after that, they're like, oh, I see it from your side too, because we allowed them to vent first, versus it becoming a combative argument, right? That just doesn't
work.
Yeah. Julie, anything else you want to talk about? This was kind of this has been very helpful, hopefully for the audience, that if they're thinking about property management, what to do, what not to do, how to grow it, why it's important to consider growing one. As an example, I was at a mastermind at an event that I was fortunate enough to speak at last week, and a couple of the people asked me some property management questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They've grown some their own, and they've taken some classes and courses to grow and different things, and they were just kind of asking questions on how ours is going and different things. And it was a cool little mastermind from amazing real estate leaders, but they also have property management companies because they realize the opportunity of the vertical alignment that we talked about. And so if you're one of those people, if you're a team leader, if you're an agent that is considered doing it, like, it's not always easy and sunshine and rainbows, but there is a tremendous opportunity if you choose to do that.
Absolutely. I would not recommend managing 170 properties yourself, though.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Find a Julie.
Yeah. Yes. And we have 3 people on staff now, right?
We have 3 people. Yeah, we have Amanda, who is the visionary, the broker, all things accounting. And then I was promoted to director of operations, and then we hired Shelby. It was just getting too much for one person. And Shelby's been awesome.
And I can see the difference from an outsider looking in once we made that additional hire, that it freed you up to do other things. Like you said, Amanda's the visionary, and I 100% agree. But it allowed you to look more to work on the business instead of 100% in the business.
Yeah, I was very reluctant when she was saying I need to replace myself. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
But it totally makes sense now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can see the growth we've been able to have, the more freedom that you have. You're able to do probably more things that you enjoy and not have to constantly be bogged down with the things that you don't. And Shelby's amazing at doing the things that she is doing.
Like people write seats.
That's right. It's been amazing growth for our company, and hopefully we have more of those coming soon.
Yeah, we've put I think we've put 11 properties in property management this year already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And manage them at 97% occupancy, right?
That's right.
Yeah, amazing. Awesome. Well, Julie, do you have anything else of value for the audience before we go?
I do not have anything else of value. I am valued out.
Figures.
Matt's just happy that he can make fun of me now because we're not going to be on this podcast.
No, I'll do it on the podcast. I don't care. Well, Julie, I just want to close it out with, I truly do appreciate you. You have been an amazing asset to the real estate company and to the property management company, and we couldn't have done it without you. I truly do appreciate it. I know we give each other a hard time, but it's been awesome to see your growth and see the growth of the company and to see how they've both grown together.
Well, I appreciate that. And of course, the real estate side has been huge in growing our company. So I have to say that.
Yeah, we have some amazing people all around. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope this was of value. If you have any questions, property management, or anything else, as always, we're here to help. We do have our new website up and live, so don't forget to check that out for free resources. It's allornothinginrealestate.com. You can go to look at our webinars, listen to all our past episodes, and reach out to us directly if you have any questions. So, as always, this is a movement. This is a passion project of me to give back to the industry. It's given so much to me. And so if you found anything of value from this or any other episode, please help share this. Share this with a friend. We're growing this. We're helping other people. We're constantly seeing you guys are sharing it and giving back because our followers continue to grow and grow. So thank you so much for doing that, but please don't stop. Continue to do that. Share this message so we can help more people.